Something has got to be done about this, Claiborne. These renegades are running all the decent settlers right out of the valley. And it's my idea that Jack Hammond is behind the whole dirty mess.
But why Jack Hammond?
Why put two and two together, Marshal? If he don't buy these ranchers out at his own price, what happens?
Now, calm down, Craig.
I'll tell you what happens. If they don't sell, their houses are burned down. The cowhands are murdered, and the cattle is rustled. You've got to do something about this.
Dad, we were fired at out on the west section.
Anybody hurt?
No, but we were lucky.
What happened?
Well, Charlie and I were herding a few head of strays into the pasture when 3 men came from nowhere and started shooting at us.
You know who they were?
They were masked, Dad. But we'd never come out alive if our men from the north section hadn't come to our rescue.
This has gone far enough, Claiborne. I'm going to organize a group of vigilantes and handle this my own way.
Better be careful, Charlie, about taking the law into your own hands.
You're forcing me to do this.
You may not think so, Craig, but I'm doing the best I can. Think it over, and don't act too hasty. So long. Good day, Miss Laura.
Bye, Marshal.
Hey, Weber, is the boss in?
Yeah, in his office. Come in.
Hello, Hammond.
Any luck, Blair?
No, Craig's blocked us again. Half a dozen of his men drove us away.
This is getting to be the same old story. What's the matter? Has he got the Indian sign on you?
No. Craig's a smart hombre.
Yes, I know he is. That's why he's held on to the ranch so long. But don't worry, he's only living on borrowed time.
Say, Mr. Hammond, what are you going to do with all this land?
That's my business. You're being well paid, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, then break it up and go have a drink on me.
I just wanted to warn you, if the shoe fits. This morning I heard talk of Craig forming a group of vigilantes. Now, you wouldn't want that to happen, would you, Hammond?
Would you be in favor of such a move?
You know I wouldn't. I represent law and order. But I'm just tipping you off. You can take it or leave it.
What did that marshal want in here?
I can handle him. But I don't like what he told me about Craig wanting to form a posse of vigilantes. Say, do you know Tex Landers, the cattle buyer?
Oh, I know who he is. He's out there in the bar now.
Well, get this and listen carefully. He's on his way to the Craig ranch to buy cattle, and he's got $5,000 or $10,000 on him in cash.
Well, how does that tie in with Craig and the vigilantes?
It ties in perfectly. Now, here's what I want you to do. When Tex Landers leaves here, I want you and Weber to follow him.
Good morning, Marshal. Howdy, Weber.
Morning, Charlie.
Howdy, Craig.
What's on your mind, Claiborne?
I'm looking for Tex Landers.
The cattle buyer?
Yeah. He's stopping at the Wayside Inn. Weber here says he hasn't been in his room for a couple of days.
That's right. And he was heading out to your ranch to buy some cattle.
He had quite a bit of money on him, Charlie. Naturally, we're worried.
Well, I don't blame you. I've been expecting Landers, but he hasn't showed up yet.
Mind if we take a look around?
No, go ahead.
What's in there? Nothing. Well, you might as well start here.
It's Landers, all right. And he's dead.
I can't imagine how he got here. We haven't used this bunkhouse since we finished the new one.
What's that?
No one's accusing anybody of anything.
Well, if I was Marshal, I think I'd know what to do.
Well, you're not. And I'd be obliged if you'd wait outside while I talk to Craig.
You don't think for a moment, Marshal, that I killed this man, do you?
No, I don't, Craig. You've got a mighty good reputation. But I've got a hunch that somebody's out to wreck it. And you, too. I'm going to take a look around, Charlie.
I'll bet the house if you want me. Now, don't worry, Mother. They found the body, and that's all I know about it.
But who could have done it, Dad?
That don't take much guessing. Charlie, you can't handle this thing alone. You got to have help. I'd sure like to see Crash Corrigan and his two pals walk in right now.
But what could they do?
Plenty. They're fighters. I ought to know. I helped raise Crash. He'd come a-flying if you'd ask him.
Why not write to him, Dad?
This is my problem, Mother. Besides, I don't want to ask favors.
How'd I ever come to raise such an ornery son? Maybe it's natural. I'm kind of ornery myself.
Crash is always getting us into something with a gal in it.
Why do you think I'm here? Well, Mother Craig's a fine old lady. And make no mistake about that. She's 60 years young and a peacherino.
Well, I'm afraid she's a little too old for me.
Well, Mother Craig helped bring me up, and when she hollers help, we ride. Like we're not very welcome around here. I guess Mother Craig meant it when she said she needed help.
Well, let's get over there then.
Hammonds run most of the other ranchers out. But the Craigs ain't quitters, and we're staying till we get Hammond or he gets us.
What about the murder you spoke of in your letter, Mother Craig?
That's probably some more of Hammond's dirty work. I figure he shot Landers and put his body in our bunkhouse, so's Charlie would be accused.
When do you expect Mr. Craig back?
He left this morning in the buckboard. The hills, I think.
Alibi, you ride into the Wayside Inn and check up on that outfit. Denny and I'll stay here.
Oh, shucks. You would send me into some cheap hotel while you and Denny stay here and get all the good home cooking. on, Elmer. You might be kind of handy.
Always am.
I saw it with my own eyes. Tex Landers murdered in Craig's bunkhouse. That was more than 10 days ago, and what's been done about it? Nothing. Charlie Craig hasn't even been arrested. Are you men going to stand for this?
No. Why ain't he in jail? He ain't no better than the rest of us.
Well, I demand that the marshal make an arrest or we get a rope and do the job ourselves.
Now you're talking.
Howdy, stranger.
How are you?
Well, I'll be cow kicked. That's the first time I've seen one of them talking dolls since I was back in Kansas City. Can you work it?
Sure, but right now I'm more interested in getting a room. Have you got any open?
We've got the best rooms north of the Rio Grande for $2 a day, if you make your own bed. And $3 if Weber here does it.
I reckon for $3.50 you'd tuck me in bed and kiss me good night.
Quiet, Elmer. It's a deal for $2, and I'll let Elmer here be the chambermaid.
Hold everything. Wait a minute. What is this chambermaid gag?
I'm surprised at your ignorance, Elmer. A chambermaid is a servant who makes up your room, your chamber.
Not me, Alibi.
I got a proposition for you, stranger. Put us on a little show tonight, and the room and drinks are on the house.
Do you hear that, Elmer? What do you say?
It's okay with me. Anything to keep from being a chambermaid.
Well, name your medicine.
I'll take some ginger beer.
Give me some Kentucky bourbon.
But you're not in Kentucky.
After a couple down the hatch, I don't care where I am. You run this joint?
I run it and own it.
Oh, a plutocrat.
A ludicrat.
You, my friend, are you a rancher?
No.
You work in town?
No.
Well, what do you do?
Mind my own business.
Jolly little number, ain't it? Bet he gets awful lonesome.
The little fellow's quite a philosopher.
Yeah, but don't encourage him because he can get to be an awful pest.
Hammond, I think I'll be riding. See you later.
All right.
Drop that gun, Blair. Now turn around. Back up. You thieves find a good place to hide out, don't you?
You're making a mistake, Craig.
Sure I am. By not filling you full of lead right now. But I want you alive. Talk for the Landers killing.
Oh, you're loco. I don't know anything.
Come on, get him back up.
It's Blair. He's in trouble. Well, we won't have to worry about him anymore.
You think Laura will go for that kind of serenading? You're plumb loco.
That's a right tolerable tune. I like a little serenading now and then. Sort of makes life softer.
Hey, Alibi, what'd you find out?
Just as soon as I put up the saddle, I'll be back and tell you.
Hiya, Romeo. Maybe the lady doesn't like your kind of music.
Maybe you think she'd go for your singing.
Why, you... Somehow I wanted to play her.
Woman trouble again.
Say, what'd you find out, Alibi?
Well, Hammond's bartender Weber's trying to stir up a mob against Craig.
Well, that bears out what Mother told us.
Was that all you learned?
No, most of Hammond's men are hiding out in the hills.
In the hills?
Yeah.
Well, that's where Craig's headed.
Think he showed up here yet?
No, we haven't laid eyes on him.
Well, if he don't show up by morning, we better go looking for him. Get back.
Wait here, boys.
The big fella is Hammond, and the one with the gray shirt is Marshal Claiborne.
We'd better go over to the house. Mother and Laura may need us. Say, Hammond knows you, Alibi.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon you'd better stay here.
Okay.
Come in.
Good morning, Mrs. Craig.
Morning.
Howdy, ma'am.
Not so well since I recognized you. What are you men after?
Is Charlie around?
Well, maybe so. Why?
That's our business.
Shut up. Why do you want Charlie?
Well, I'd like to ask him a few questions.
Father isn't home. We haven't seen him since yesterday morning.
What's going on here?
Who are these men?
Some friends of ours came out to do a little hunting for rattlesnakes and coyotes.
I said, what's going on here?
Well, I'm Marshal Claiborne, and I have a warrant for Charlie Craig's arrest.
What's the charge? Murder.
Why, you are...
When Mr. Craig comes home, I'll see that he comes to town.
Thank you.
I'll bet you will. I don't like your tone, and I don't like your looks, and I don't like you. Now get out.
I warned you to watch your step, Hammond. Now get along. I'll expect to see Craig in town later.
What's it all about, Granny? I'm so worried.
You can stop worrying, Miss Laura. We'll find Mr. Craig before they do.
They're leaving, Mother. I've a hunch that Hammond was trying to pull a fast one.
How, Crash?
Well, if his gang's holding Charlie, I reckon that they brought the marshal along just to throw us off the track.
That sounds reasonable, Granny.
Then we better get to Mr. Craig, and fast.
Why?
Laura, fetch your father's rifle. I may be nearsighted, but I can still hit the bullseye at 50 yards.
Come on, Alibi. Saddle your horse. We're riding.
Craig, Danny, look.
Oh, I wonder where Craig went. You're Charlie Craig.
Yeah. I don't know you, but you don't look like cutthroats to me.
Well, my name's Crash Corrigan.
Crash Corrigan.
I'm sure glad you got here.
I want you to meet my partners, Denny Moore.
Howdy, Mr. Craig. Hiya, Denny.
And my other partner, Alibi Terhune.
Alibi?
Hi. Say, where you hurt?
It's my shoulder and my ankle. Falling away from the wreck, I tried to get away.
Don't try to talk now, Mr. Craig. Just take it easy.
Say, we're going to have to work fast. I'm riding in tonight to tell Claiborne that we brought Craig back to the ranch.
Craig alive? Are you sure?
I saw him right after I found Blair and took him to the shack.
You said Craig went over the cliff.
Yeah, but Cargan and his pals found him and took him to the ranch. Well, I'm tired of fooling around. Craig's got to be cleaned out. That's what the boys think, and they get mighty restless. They're going to get plenty of excitement pronto. Well, what's the plan? Now remember, Mike, round up the boys, and I'll ride out to the shack tomorrow and give them the rest of their orders. Yes, sir.
All right, Snooper. Get him up. Keep walking. In the saloon. In that room there. He was mighty interested in your conversation from outside that window. Eavesdropping, huh? Well, well. You know, folks that do that don't usually hear anything good about themselves.
Do you ever say anything good?
What's your interest in Craig's ranch, Corrigan?
Oh, maybe I'm just interested to see that he keeps it.
Get his gun, Weber. Reach! Ow!
Maybe next time I'll stay a little longer.
I think you will. Trail him, Mike, but don't let him trap you.
Hammond's cooking up some kind of a scheme. He and his gang are going to meet at the hideout tomorrow to talk it over.
It's sure lucky you spotted that hideout shack, Mr. Craig.
We're going to ride up there and give it the once-over.
That's what you think. And no gunplay from you two. I'm taking Craig in. Come on, get up. No, you don't. I've changed my mind. I'm finishing this right now and here.
That's awful big talk, mister. I think you better drop that shooting iron.
You were just in time, Denny.
Where can we lock this critter up, Mr. Craig?
Put him in the tool house and chain him to the anvil.
With pleasure.
Come on. You may hold the upper hand now. But wait till Hammond gets to work on you.
Oh, so it is Hammond that's back of this gang.
I didn't say so, and you can't prove it.
Oh, yes, you can. And if you're smart, you'll tell the whole story. And you might save your own neck. Crash and Denny just rode away, and they said for you to wait for them here.
Good. That'll give us a chance to persuade our friend here to talk. You want to talk?
I ain't saying nothing.
Solitude sometimes corrects a man's thinking. Come on, Mother Craig. We'll leave him alone with his thoughts for a while.
All right.
One of us is going to have to get down there pronto.
Well, I could get around those boulders on the far side.
Good. I'll keep you covered from here.
And I don't care what you do. Burn the house, fire the barns, anything to clean Craig out.
When do we start?
Get to the house around bedtime. When they're asleep and the lights are out, let them have it. The rest of the boys will be out on the range to raid the cattle as soon as the commotion draws everybody to the house.
Will Craig be surprised?
We'll really finish him this time. And I'm riding with you to see there won't be no slip-ups.
What'd you find out?
I'll tell you later. Let's get out of here.
Now, you be sure and call me at the right time and then come in and do your stuff.
And you be sure and put it on good and thick.
Leave it to me.
You get a good night's rest?
What do you mean a good night's rest?
Are you thirsty? I'll fetch you some water.
No, I'm not thirsty.
This reminds me of a death watch I was on once. Just before the convict was hanged.
But he kept asking for water every few minutes.
Did you see a man hanged?
Yeah, and it was awful. They led him up those last 13 steps. Put a big hood over his head. Tied a noose around his neck with a big knot right here. Pushed him out onto that trap. And the trap was sprung. And his neck was broken. Just like that. And to think of all the agony he could saved himself, it just turned state's evidence.
I heard about that evidence stuff. What does it mean?
Well, it means if you tell the state all you know, they go easy on you. They don't hang you.
Alibi? Where are you?
Here in the tool house, Mrs. Craig.
Crash and Denny just got back, and they brought in a fellow named Blair.
Blair? Well, I know him from Hammond's Hotel.
He's confessed. So the fellow named Mike Phelps killed Herc Flanders.
Why, he can't frame me, the dirty double-crosser. He did it himself.
Where have they got him?
Up at the house.
Come on, let's go see him.
Hey, wait a minute, mister. Hey, don't go away, mister. Come back here. I want to tell you something. I got something to tell you. Come here.
If I could have gotten there just a little sooner, I could have found out what they were going to do at the Craig Ranch house.
Well, when's all this going to happen, Denny?
About midnight, when everybody's asleep. But I think it's just a trick to keep us away from the range.
I don't get it.
They're going to raid the Craig cattle at sunup.
Oh. Oh, now I get it. Well, we'll just fool them. We'll be out there with the cattle when Hammond shows up with these rustlers.
But what about Mother Craig and Laura?
Well, I reckon we'd better hide them out in the barns and leave Alibi with them for protection.
Well, we've got plenty to do. We better get moving.
Straight, Weber? Sure. As soon as the bonfire gets going good, we ride out to the range to meet you and the boys.
Right. That ought to get you there just after sunup. Now, you better start riding and take Butch with you. Blair, you round up the rest of the boys and have them here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Well, you be safe here, and you can see all that's happening from over there.
I wish Dad hadn't insisted on riding with Crash and the boys. He's not well yet.
He'd be a lot sicker if he couldn't be in on the kill. Anyway, we got a swell surprise for them when this mess is cleared up. How about it, Alibi?
That's right.
What have you two been up to?
You'll find out soon enough. Well, I got a little job to do, and then I'll be back. Oh, you better turn down that lantern.
They're turning in now. Wait a while, I'll give them a chance to go to sleep. We leave the horses here and sneak around the back.
Put out all the lights in the house, and now we'll just wait.
Here's a match. get back to the horses. It won't be long now. It'll be a swell bonfire. Well, it's a goner now. Let's get out of here.
Well, what could that be? The house is on fire.
I'm riding to tell the boys what happened. You're safe here in the barn.
Go ahead, Alibi. We're all right.
Well, Granny, it looks as if we've lost our home.
We can always build a new one, dear. And we will.
Set the ranch house on fire.
Some of you men better ride back. That's just what Hammond would want you to do.
What about Laura and Mother?
Don't you worry none about them, Mr. Craig. They're safe, and besides, I'm going back.
Well, we'll all stay here and keep a date with Jack Hammond. This is it, men. Get your horses.
That's Craig and his men. They've crossed us up. We lead them up to Hanging Rock and blast them to pieces. You two men with the rifles, get up in those rocks. Let Craig and his men come through and then let them have it. The rest of us will ride around this way and come in from behind.
like they vanished into thin air.
Well, there's only one place it could have gone. Through Tunnel Rock.
Oh, wait a minute, fellas. We don't want to ride into any hornet's nest. Denny and I'll go ahead on foot. When we get in the rocks, you follow.
All right, then. We're going in.
It's a trap! Head for cover! Direction. They've got the advantage. We haven't got a Chinaman's chance. What's the matter with you, Slick? Can't you see who you...
Get to your horses, men. They're flanked us with rifles.
Hey, Marshal! Round up your horses. We got them on the run. Come on, Ben.
Denny and I'll get Hammond. You get the others.
All right, Freddy.
Get on your feet. Your fighting days are over.
All right, Hammond. On your horse.
I think this written confession of Mike's will start all your prisoners on a long vacation.
Thanks, Alibi. How'd you get it out of him, Alibi?
Oh, Mother and I framed him.
We just used a straight face and a little poker bluff. And now, Crash, I want to thank you and the boys for giving us a hand.
And that goes for me, too.
And me. And I want you all to come and visit us when our new house is built.
That's a date.
That's 2 days.
Well, you can't shake me. I'll be there, too.
Get ready for a fantastic adventure of Range Rider, starring Jock Mahoney and Dick Jones. And this is brought to you by Wild West Toys. If you're looking for cap guns for your buckaroos or just for your collections, and you're wanting American-made ones, there's only one place to get them, and that's Wild West Toys. And you can shop with Wild West Toys online at www.toyguntown.com.
Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play.
And who could be more at home on the range than the Range Rider? With his thrilling adventures of the great outdoors, his exciting experiences rivaling those of Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone, Buffalo Bill, and other pioneers of this wonderful country of ours. And Dick West, All-American Boy.
I'm not going to listen to your explanations any longer, Mr. Moore. I'm giving you notice to vacate.
But why, Tom? Why? I've paid you a lot of rent. I've built up this business. Now you want to throw me out like I'm a crook or something.
I told you why. This is a decent town. It was built on my homestead. I own every inch of it. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't sell to anybody. Because I want to keep this town decent. Oh, I know every town has to have a casino for a man to relax. But I told you the gambling had to be on the level, and you're greedy, Moore. You're swindling my friends, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Well, as you say, you're the boss. You own this town lock, stock, and barrel. I guess there's nothing to do but consider our arrangement terminated. Mighty neat arrangement. Goodbye, Mr. Pinkert. I heard Tom had a bad heart, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I even remember he had an attack once.
I guess you better call the coroner, Bill. He's on our payroll. He'll do what we tell him to do. Stage ought to be here any minute now.
Have you figured out just what you're going to say to this Leslie character?
Don't worry. He's probably just some old bookkeeper or farmer from back east.
I just can't figure out why Pinkert would leave all that money to just one person.
Me either. This much I do know, though. He's going to want to know, whoever he is, about Tom Pinkert's death. So remember, he got himself all excited when he lost his money and just fell dead with a heart attack. Whoa, whoa. There's nobody but two women in that coat. Didn't you bring in a man called Leslie Pinkert?
I am Leslie Pinkert. Well, young man, just don't stand there with your mouth open. Say something.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. Did you say your name is Leslie Pinkert?
I most certainly did.
Well, of course you did. Excuse me for being so stupid. Allow me to introduce myself, my friends, Mr. Simmons and Mr. Grant, two associates of mine. My name is Donald Moore.
How do you do? This is my niece, Jane Collins, and as you know, I'm Leslie Pinkert, the late Tom Pinkert's sister, and I'm very anxious to get to his ranch.
Well, of course. There's a livery stable in town. I can rent a buckboard for you. Can you drive one?
Young man, I drove a buckboard before you were born. Just make all the arrangements and pile the luggage on, and we'll start out for RIMROCK right away.
Yes, ma'am. You better come with me, Bill. Pete, keep an eye on that baggage until we get back to the buckboard.
Right, boys.
We'll let him drive it alone. A lot can happen in 10 miles.
Now, what's the matter? Burr in your saddle?
I don't need any burrs. After that last rodeo, I'm just sore. Don't you feel anything?
Sometimes I get sore. You just get used to it.
I'm sore, and I'm not about to get used to it. I heard. Hey, sounds like trouble.
Let's go to work. Isn't that the range rider and his pal, Dick West?
Yeah, come on, let's get out of here.
Hey, that's quite a long rifle for a little girl, isn't it?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Well, thanks for helping us out. We were getting along just fine.
Well, I'm sure you were, ma'am. When you're attacked by bushwhackers like this, sometimes it's a good idea to have reinforcements. Where were you going? Maybe we could tag along.
Well, we were going to RIMROCK. This is my niece, Jane Collins, and I'm Leslie Pinkert.
Well, I'm the range rider, ma'am. This is my sidekick, Dick West.
Well, don't bother to see us into town, because I think we'll get there safely now. Well, on second thought, maybe we better not take any chances.
Anyone ready for more pie?
Gee, if I ate any more, I'd pop.
Well, me too. I sure beats your cooking.
Well, maybe I ought to stick around and pick up some pointers.
You know, I never did really get an explanation of how my brother really died. They said it was his heart.
The coroner's office will give you all the details, ma'am.
And another thing, what was that ambush all about? Maybe Uncle Tom had some enemies, and you've inherited them.
Well, I doubt it, Miss Jane. See, Mr. Pinkert was a fine old man. He had set ideas about certain things, but he was fair and square.
There's some people who might not like that.
Come to think of it, this ranch house is about 2 or 3 miles from town. Maybe we ought to stick around here and give them some protection.
Young man, I've been taking care of myself for 50 years, and I can still do it.
Oh, but Aunt Leslie.
Well, however, we have got a big ranch house, and there's plenty of room. Now, if you boys are so concerned about our safety, why...
We'll be glad to accept your hospitality. That is, until we get to the bottom of this ambush and find out who it is in this territory that doesn't like you. Won't we, partner, huh?
It might be a good idea. If you don't mind, Dickie and I'll sleep outside.
Outside?
Certainly. That way we can keep a better eye on the house.
When they've got all those rooms inside?
Right. Now I think Dick and I better go in town. Nosy around a little bit.
Good, I'll go along with you. I want to find out a little bit more about my brother's death.
Why don't we all go?
Well, I suppose I could buy something.
Well, let's go.
Here come those two dames with their self-appointed bodyguards.
There's the general store. Would you like me to go in with you?
No, thank you. There's some things I'd like to get for myself.
I'm going in to see Mr. Moore.
The old lady's coming in here. You two boys better beat it. While you're outside, see if you can't convince the range rider and his pal that it might be wiser and healthier for them to leave town.
Well, I think we can.
According to a letter I received, I understand that my brother died in his casino.
We'll wait out here for you, man. That is, unless you'd like for us to go in with you.
Thanks. I don't think it'll be necessary.
Can't understand why Jane wouldn't let me help her do her shopping.
Maybe there's some things that a young lady likes to do by herself. How would you like for her to help you pick out your long red flannel underwear?
I don't wear that kind, and you know it.
So that's the way it was, ma'am. I don't know how much money he lost. I guess it must have been in the thousands. Anyway, it upset him so much he just fell to the floor, and by the time the doctor got here, he was dead.
I see. You know, there's just one thing that puzzles me, Mr. Moore. My brother was a very good man, religious and straight as a die, and very careful about his money. I don't understand how suddenly he'd start gambling.
Well, unfortunately, ma'am, there's not much else to do for entertainment out in this part of the country.
What are you trying to do, block off the whole porch here?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're sorry. This town's crowded enough already. We don't need you two here. Why don't you beat it?
Well, if the town is too crowded, why don't you leave?
Well, you're just asking.
Fighting in the street? I thought they were gentlemen.
You mean the range rider and his friend?
Yes.
Well, I don't like to tell you this, ma'am, and I hate to talk about anybody, but the range rider hasn't got too good a reputation around these parts.
What do you mean? I thought he was very helpful and pleasant to my niece and myself.
Sure, that's the way he is. Smooth as silk on the outside and tough on the inside. You just saw how he was fighting with those men outside.
I don't like this whole business. I don't like it at all. I'm going to make some changes around here. For one thing, this fighting and drinking and gambling. I'm quite sure that when my brother founded RIMROCK, he didn't intend it to be a godless town.
Now, wait just a minute, Miss...
On the contrary, you wait a minute, Mr. Moore. As I understand it, I own this casino now. Is that not true?
Well, it's never been quite decided who really owns it. However, I've been running things for quite a few years now.
Nevertheless, as I understand it, this town was built on my brother's homestead. He merely rented out his properties. He never sold any.
Well, that's not exactly true. Your brother and I ran this casino as partners. Now that he's dead, I figure I own the casino.
You're going to have to prove that to me legally, Mr. Moore. And another thing, I don't believe what you said about the range rider. You're going to have to prove that to me also. That's quite a right hook you got there. How'd it start?
Well, a couple of the boys tried to push us around, ma'am. Sorry. Guess we just didn't like it.
You know, it's funny, that same thing happened to me, and I didn't like it either.
Fine couple of tough guys you are. But boss, shut up! Couldn't take care of two no-good men. Maybe you can take care of one old lady.
Do we have to sleep outside?
Yep.
Why?
It's healthier.
That Jane sure is a pretty girl.
Yeah, I know. They're all pretty as far as you're concerned.
She's different.
And they're all different as far as you're concerned. Now try and get some sleep, will you? And put that gun away.
You know what's good for you, you'll get out of RIMROCK right away. Otherwise, the next time it won't be a rock, it'll be a bullet.
Open up in there. What happened?
A man, a man.
At the window over there.
I don't see anything now.
Did you see what he looked like?
Well, how could I tell with his face all distorted against the window?
Show them the note he threw through the window.
Yes, here, read it for yourself.
What's it say, partner, huh?
Looks like somebody's trying to scare Miss Pinkert out of town, Dick.
But why? Why would they want to do that?
Well, maybe your arrival here was kind of awkward for some people. By the way, what happened when you talked to Tom Moore this afternoon?
Well, he said that my brother and he were partners, and because my brother died, he now owned the entire property.
Can you prove it?
That's what I asked him.
Miss Pinkert, I don't mean to butt into your business, but I think you'd better go to the Office of Records and Deeds and check. Find out exactly where you stand.
That's a good idea. We'll do it tomorrow.
Fine. You know how to use this.
Yes, and I won't miss either.
Good. Good night.
And you should have seen them, boss. You'd have thought they'd seen a ghost.
Get the door, will you, Pete?
Wait a minute, you.
Why, Miss Pinkert, this is a pleasure.
Don't you soft soap me, Mr. Moore. I have just come from the county clerk's office, and I found out that you and my brother were not partners in this nefarious enterprise.
Why, Miss Pinkert, your brother was getting a cut on every dollar I took in this place.
Records show he got the rent. That's all.
And that's not all. I can put you out without notice. It says so right here in your lease. And there's a copy of this down at the clerk's office if you wish to look at it.
Have you always lived in this part of the country?
All my life.
And just how long is all your life?
Yes.
Well...
Now, Miss Pinkert, can't we talk this thing over? That casino made your brother a lot of money. There's no reason it can't do the same for you.
I don't want this money. My brother would be alive today if you didn't run this gambling hall.
Sure you won't change your mind?
My mind is made up once and for all. Now get out.
Now, Pete.
Relax. I'll be right back.
Get your hands up, both of you. And you too, Miss Pinkert.
You men let us go this minute.
Not until we've made some changes in that deed. Say, Pete, that niece of hers is outside. Grab her and you know where to take her. I'll join you later. Right.
You can't do that.
Turn around. You too. And you, Miss Pinkert. Now, you'll have to come to terms with me, Miss Pinkert. Well, Miss Pinkert.
I'll have you arrested for abduction, embezzlement, and extortion.
Oh, no, you won't. Because if you go near the law, you'll never see your niece again. And I'm the only one that knows where she is.
Well, all right, you thief, you kidnapper. I'll sign anything you want.
That's better.
Come on, Dick, we can still get the girl.
You take care of that one, and I'll look after Mr. Moore.
Good head back for the ranch, ma'am.
Tracks lead up in the rocks. Let's go. Get over there.
Must be in the cabin.
He better not hurt Jane.
That's why we can't fire. We're liable to hit her. Come on.
Are you all right, Jane?
I'm all right now. Where's Aunt Leslie?
We told her to go back to the ranch.
Yes, but if I know your aunt, she's right where we left her. Pick up your hat. We're going back to town.
You can ride my horse, and I'll walk alongside.
I don't mind riding double. With you.
Go on, don't stop. Write exactly what you told me.
Wait a minute, Miss Pinkert. You don't have to sign anything.
Young man, you forget that I've been here alone with Mr. Moore for over an hour. And he's just about to write out a confession stating that my brother did not die of a heart attack. He was murdered. Are you all right, dear?
I am now.
Well, go on. Keep right on writing. And don't forget to sign it when you've finished. We'll take it to the sheriff.
I've got news for you, Miss Pinkert. You're the sheriff.
And the what?
The sheriff. Don't you remember when we were over at the county office reading your brother's deed?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
On your brother's deed, it says that only a property owner can hold office in this town. Since you've inherited the whole town, you're not only the sheriff, but the mayor, the city council, or anything else that you want to be. So would you like to take charge of the prisoners, Sheriff Pinkert?
Well, it will be a pleasure. Come on, you slicker, get up. Come on, get going. Hurry up.
Brady cat?
I hope you enjoyed Range Rider, starring Jock Mahoney and Dick Jones. And if you ever get a chance to see Dick Jones at a festival or something, he attends several of them, and he's a wonderful fellow to visit with and to meet. So anyway, if you want to see him here again on this website, just take a look at another episode of Range Rider or an episode of Buffalo Bill Jr. And it's all brought to you free by Wild West Toys, the only manufacturer of American-made Western toy cap guns. And if you want to shop with Wild West Toys online, go to www.toyguntown.com.